Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Believe You Me podcast. We've got a new co-host. Step aside, Butch. Step aside, Anthony Smith. Tommy Two Legs, triumphant in the octagon once again. Tom, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining us, mate.
Hello there, Michael. Hello there, Anthony. Good evening. Yeah, just chilling. Nothing much, to be honest with you. What's going on?
Listen, mate. Let's just start with that. I mean, come on. You're out for a year. You break your leg. You had your ups and downs. We've talked about all that stuff. We won't dwell on the negatives. But you come back against Marcin Tybura, he was 7-1, I think, in his last day, against a lot of very good competition. You floated like a butterfly. You stung like a bee. You take him out of there in quick fashion. I mean, you're just showing off at this point, Tom.
Yeah. Well, I don't really want to get punched if I don't need to. You know what I mean? I'll do that all day if I can. Yeah. I mean, you know me, Mike, personally, and I'm not the kind of guy who goes around like bigging myself up if I don't need to. And I've been telling everyone that I felt better than ever. I did feel better than ever. Like I felt great, and I knew that I was in a really, really good spot. Like I had a great training camp. Everything was really, really good, and I think that just showed. You know, everything just really came together, and I just felt like I was levels above Tybura, and that's no disrespect to him. You know, he's a really good guy. He's like say he's won 7 of his last 8 in the rankings as well, which is pretty unheard of, especially at heavyweight. Like the guy's really, really good. But I just feel like I'm going to be the champ one day, to be honest, and I'm just levels above guys like Tybura, and that's no disrespect to anybody. That's just literally how I feel about it.
Tom, how long did it take before you were moving around and because knee injuries are tough, man. They're really, really hard to come back from. How long did it take before you started feeling like yourself again?
Whoa, it's a good question. I really took my time with it, you know. I didn't rush it because it was the worst thing that ever happened to me, really, to be honest. I didn't want to risk that happening again. So I made sure that I give myself enough time. Yeah, the UFC actually asked me to fight earlier. And to be honest with you, I probably could have fought like a few months earlier, but I just wanted to give myself enough time that I could come back and make sure that I was on good form. But I think before I started training like MMA properly, it was probably around 6 months after the surgery, I think. Like I made sure that I did a full rehab program before I even thought about doing any MMA. But I started off really slowly, though, honestly. It wasn't like I would start drilling, like I'd start off boxing drilling, which obviously doesn't really involve your legs too much. And then I would start doing some light grappling drills, and then I'd start going live from grappling situations. And I'd do it really, really slow. It wasn't like, I really didn't want to do it from like rehab process to full sparring straight away. I wanted to make sure that everything was really slow. I really took my time, and I'm really proud of myself the way that I did everything. And I'm really proud of the people that were around me as well, because the people held me back. Because I constantly want to push, you know what I mean? I'm a high level athlete. I'm an elite level athlete, and as you guys know, as elite level athlete, sometimes we got to push through the pain. We got to push through the ego. Like your ego takes over, and you just want to do things quick, and you're impatient, and you want to get back in there. But I'm actually really proud of the way that I displayed my patience and my confidence to take the time that I needed, and I'm really happy with the way everything went.
Tom, you should be happy and you should be proud. I mean, what you did was incredible, coming back from that leg injury. I mean, Anthony's been there. We've all had injuries, and we all know how hard it is, you know. And you do go through dark times. So coming back, being as impressive as you was, as I say, you should be very proud. Now, you're standing here now, and I know you're supremely confident. You're saying you're going to become the champion. And that's not from an arrogant standpoint. And I said the same thing about Bo Nickel. When I was talking to Bo Nickel recently, he talks about himself in a certain way. And it's not because he's being arrogant. It's because he has belief, or he has the knowledge of how good he is because of all the years of wrestling at the absolute highest level. He's like, I know what I can do to the average human being. You know what I mean? So it's coming from a place of still humility, but just realization. Is that I'd be lying to myself and lying to everyone else if I didn't say I can't go out there and beat most guys. You know what I'm saying? So you have that kind of self-belief. You were always in the past saying, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take it slow. Now you're talking about becoming a champion. You're talking about how good you are from not from a cocky standpoint, as I said. You know, when did that switch come? Because we're going to get to Jon Jones in a bit, and whether or not you can hold a goddamn candle to him. Let's not go there yet. But when did this mindset change, Tommy T? Tommy turntables, Tommy two legs.
You need to stop with that, Mike. You need to stop with it. I think when I was injured, to be honest, I think it was a very, 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 very miserable time for me. But I think that when your back is against the wall, you've got decisions to make, mate. You've got a lot of decisions to make. And the decision that I made, I had a dilemma. It's like, am I going to be half in with this thing? Or am I really going to start to believe in myself? And because I think before I was like, I don't know, I wasn't fully, I always had the skill set and stuff, but I'm not sure that I had the mindset, to be honest. I was always like half in, and I didn't want to be fully in case I failed, as weird as that sounds. I would always hold myself back a little bit. I would always not do the right training camps. I would always not have the right diet. I would always not take the right rest. And that's probably when I had the time to think about it properly, which I didn't really have before when I was injured. Like, I had time to really think, why do I not apply myself fully? And I think the reason is that I always kind of wanted, it's a weak mindset to have, but I think I always kind of wanted an excuse to say, oh, well, if I lost, I didn't train hard enough, I didn't diet properly, I didn't rest properly, you keep coming up with all these excuses for yourself. And I wanted to put that completely out the window. I wanted to go all in with this thing. And I really, really convinced myself that I am one of the best heavyweights to ever do this. And I'm really all in with it. Like, right now, my whole life is geared towards me being the heavyweight champion of the world. Everything, every little detail of my life is geared towards that. And that's the way it should be. And I'm not afraid. It sounds kind of corny. I don't know, maybe it's more of an American thing to say. I don't know. But, like, I really, accept greatness in my life now. And that's something
you've changed. That's so cheesy and American these days. Hollywood Tom Aspinall.
You know, when someone says I've changed, that's actually a massive compliment, you know, because I'm fucking right, I've changed.
Yeah,
fucking right, I've changed. Exactly. And I really believe in myself now, and I'm really doing everything that I can. You know what? If it doesn't work out, at least I can say that I fucking give it my best go. At least I can say that I've gone all in, both feet are in, and I'm doing everything that I can to, and I'm happy with that. Like I say, I'm not the kind of person who blows my own trumpet. I'm not the kind of person who says, oh, I'm proud of myself, but I really am proud of myself for where I am right now in my career and where I am in my life and what I've done. And moving forward, I'm really happy with everything and the way everything's turned out, to be honest.
Man, that's a mental journey that a lot of people don't get to. A lot of people don't get to experience that and lose it and then figure it out and come back the way that you did. Tell me about the worst, darkest moment, because we've all three of us have had them where it could be anywhere. Sometimes I've had them when I've been driving, and I'm listening to something and I just, I'm just losing my shit, and you just find yourself driving down the road crying or whatever. You're laying in bed or what was that moment like, or when was it? Was it before surgery or after? And just where was your head at?
I remember the moment specifically. I remember it so well. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was over a year ago now, but I remember it really well. So after my fight with Blades, I planned to go on a holiday, a vacation. I was going to go and travel around Poland a little bit. I was going to go and see some family in Poland, stay at some different places. And I was going to stay there for the full summer. I was going to stay there for 5 weeks. And obviously I blew my knee out, couldn't go on the trip. And in the time that I was going to be in Poland, I was going to have, I was having some construction work done on my house. So I had 20, 30 guys in doing the construction work. And obviously the guys were still booked to come and do the construction work. And I remember I was a few days out of surgery. My wife had gone out somewhere. I was in with the 3 kids. My leg was really, really swollen, massive, swollen, really painful after surgery. I couldn't walk. It was really hot. And there was 30 guys in my house doing construction. And I remember just sat there. It was noisy. I felt like shit. I was really depressed. And I remember just sitting there thinking, oh, what? Like, I was supposed to be like on holiday now, visiting all these different places that I'd never been before, celebrating a win. And I'm sat here with this big swollen leg, 30 random guys in my house, and 3 bored children who should be on holiday as well. Like, it was just awful. Like, it was just one of the most depressing moments, honestly, of my whole life. It was just absolutely
Sounds
awful.
like you got that main event money, though. 30 guys in the house working on the Tommy Turntables homestead. You know what I mean? You could look at the positives. Now, I got the real question for you, Tom. Can Jon Jones hold a candle to you?
What does that mean? Hold a candle to?
I Googled it. I Googled it recently because I didn't even know. And it comes from the olden days where they had apprentices, and the apprentice would hold a candle for the workmen. If it was dark or they were underground or whatever, they didn't have lamps, they would hold a candle. I was like, he's not even good enough to hold a candle for this guy. Anyway, whatever. Talk to me about the Jon Jones fight. Come on.
Well, I want it. I obviously want the fight. That's a dream fight for me. I'm pushing for it. And I kept saying in the media building up to this fight, like, moving forward in my career, I've got 2 goals. Well, three goals, obviously. But, like, most important thing is that I win my fights. That's the most important. Like, I'm a winner, and I want to win my fights. That's the most important thing. The second thing is, obviously, I want to become heavyweight champion of the world. Another one of our goals, the third thing is I want to excite Jon Jones. I want to give him a reason to stick around and be like, this is the guy that I need to stick around for. And that's what I really want, is I want to excite him, because I'm not even sure if he knew that I existed before my last fight. I don't even know. I don't know him personally or anything like that. I don't know. But, like, he's an absolute dream fight for me. And yeah, I want to fight Jon Jones, but I think I matched really well with him, you know. I'm bigger than him. I'm faster than him. You know, I know he's fought a lot of fast guys before at light heavyweight, but he's never fought someone faster than a light heavyweight who's bigger than him. I'm fresh. I've not got a million miles on the clock like a lot of these guys who he's fought. I'm mega confident. And I just think I match up really well with him, you know. I don't think he's fought anybody like me. I know he's fought so many legends before. I'm not discrediting his resume at all. He's fought so many amazing guys, but I just feel like I'm completely different to anyone who he's fought before, and I feel like I could beat him.
Well, this is, you know, Anthony did 5 rounds with Mr. Jones.
Yep,
the floor is yours, Mr. Smith. I will shut up now.
But I think you bring up an interesting point that I didn't even consider. Like, obviously, we've been talking about you versus Jon Jones for a while. And one of the biggest problems I had with Jon Jones was his size. He was so big, and he was just hard to get to, you know, but I wasn't fast enough to close the distance. I was definitely faster than him, but I wasn't fast enough to close the gap of the range and stuff. But I guess I never considered that you're going to be faster and bigger, which is something he hasn't experienced. You know what I mean? Like, even Cyril Gane, listen, with no disrespect to Cyril Gane, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. You know, his one trick is very, very good, but there's really no holes. There's nowhere that he can really exploit with you.
I mean, heavyweight MMA comes with its own rules, almost. Heavyweight MMA, like, it's so wild and unpredictable. So I'm not saying, you know, anybody can beat anybody at any time in MMA in general, but especially in heavyweight MMA. But yeah, that's something that I definitely see. Is he's definitely fought a lot of fast guys before, and now obviously he's fighting big guys like Cyril Gane at heavyweight. But as he's never fought somebody who's both a lot faster than him and bigger than him before. Because, like you say, a lot of the light heavyweight guys he fought, if you look at his resume, I know obviously you're a legit light heavyweight, but a lot of the guys are middleweights. A lot of them guys are former middleweights moving up. And
he was a heavyweight sucking himself down.
Mate, I'm 6'5", 260 plus pounds.
Jesus.
10% body fat. Like, I'm a natural heavyweight.
Jesus, Tom, relax. You flexing that bicep on the camera the whole time. Just turn it in. Turn it in, bro. Listen, no, I'm sorry. And not to mention, Tom, and this is what I talk about to a lot of people. I'm sorry to hijack and interrupt and save it in the comment section, you pricks. You were teaching grown men jiu-jitsu at 16 years old. When you're out there, we've seen you take people down and choke them out. We saw you kickboxing at the highest level against Marcin Tybura, looking lightning fast, powerful, and deadly. And when I said those things, and it's not just because we're mates, and I have tremendous admiration for you and respect, Tom. I have tremendous admiration and respect for Jon Jones' career. I mean, it is ridiculously successful. What I meant, and I'll be honest, I was trying to help you out in terms of matchmaking as well. Do you know what I mean? I want to see that fight happen. I think that could be one of the biggest heavyweight fights to ever happen, because you are earning it. You're going through people. You're making it look easy. But I don't think he's somebody your size with a complete skill set. He's fought guys with complete skill sets, but you're going to physically dominate him in every area. Now, obviously, Jon Jones is a ridiculously high fight IQ, ridiculously experienced, still doing it at the toppest level, still going out there in record time. There's no disrespect from me towards Jon Jones in terms of his fight career, none whatsoever. But I truly do believe that for all those reasons I just said, maybe he does have his hands full.
He's got his hands full, mate. Definitely. I think it's really interesting. Whether he's going to stick around or not, I don't know. Who knows? I know there's a lot of talk about a possible double retirement now with him and Stipe in the November at Madison Square Garden. Who knows, mate? I don't know Jon personally. I don't know any of his team or anything like that. I don't know where he's at, but I would absolutely love that fight. Like, if I get a chance, mate, to fight one of the best ever, that's just what dreams are made of for someone like me. Never mind, like, it's heavyweight MMA, mate. It takes one shot. I'm a very, very quick and powerful guy, and it takes one. So I've definitely got a chance. All skill set aside, it takes one shot. And now, if we bring skill set into it, like you say, I've been grappling since I was 8 years old. I'm 30 years old now. It's not like, you know, a lot of guys talk about all the UK wrestling and all that, and it doesn't exist, but mate, I've been grappling since I was 8 years old. I'm from a family line of grapplers, wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Like, it's ridiculous.
No man alive.
I don't know.
No man alive can take my son.
What do you think about Tyson Fury against Ngannou, by the way, going off topic?
Well, what do you think? Because you've trained and sparred many, many times with Tyson Fury. What do you think, Tom? That's the real question.
I think you got the best opinion here.
Well, I'm actually going to help Tyson.
Oh, what a traitor.
Well, I have no loyalties to Francis Ngannou. I've got loyalties.
What's your problem with the Predator?
No, I don't know him. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I've never met him, for one.
I've actually never met him. I'm not even joking. Never met him. I think, obviously, Ngannou's got a puncher's chance, obviously. He's one of the hardest punchers to ever compete in combat sports. But that's about all he's got, to be honest. I think that...
We agree.
That's about all he's got. And I'm not saying... If Francis Ngannou knocked out Tyson Fury, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying that it can't happen. It definitely can happen. But if we're talking about skill sets, Tyson Fury's like universe close in terms of skill sets. So would I be surprised if Ngannou landed and knocked him out? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. He's one of the hardest punchers ever. But Tyson Fury is ridiculous in terms of boxing skill. Absolutely ridiculous. You've never seen anything like it. He's unbelievable.
And of course, he's got Uncle Mike Tyson helping him out now as well. That's going to help him out significantly. Hey, but the question I want to know... Hold
on, let me jump in real quick, Mike.
Hold on. You versus Tyson Fury, Tom. You versus Tyson Fury. How does that go down?
In a boxing fight?
Yeah.
No chance, mate. Absolutely no chance. I'm not going to... You see, I see a lot of MMA fighters.
And that's really humble of you, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of MMA fighters, mate, and like me personally, I've sparred a lot of high-level boxers. Like, I've sparred Tyson Fury loads, Hughie Fury, Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois. Like, that's just to name a few off the top of my head. Who were like world-level professional heavyweight boxers. And I see a lot of MMA fighters like, oh yeah, I'll jump over and I'll beat these boxers. And obviously boxing, there is an element of boxing in our sport, an element of punching in our sport. But until you spar a high-level professional boxer over 12 rounds, you'll then realise that it's completely different sport. Like, the efficiency of a boxer over 12 rounds is way different to the energy efficiency of an MMA fighter fighting 3 fights. Like, these guys who are thinking about coming out and saying, "Oh, I'll switch over to boxing and I'll be a world champion." They need to do some high-level sparring with high-level boxers, because then they'll really like, if I was going to switch over to boxing and have a chance at fighting at a world level, I need to spar boxers only for at least a year, before I even think about jumping in and fighting some of the best guys in the world.
You know, I try to tell people that all the time, because I've had some not even world-class boxers, and maybe I'm making myself look stupid, but I've had some like middle of the road, guys that are 12-2, 15-2, just like pretty good boxers, but like they're not world champions, beat the absolute fuck out of me. And it's just different. It's nothing like the type of boxing that we do for MMA, which is why my next question was, I've always said that I thought that Tyson Fury has already faced the probably the hardest puncher we've ever seen in Deontay Wilder. But then I always get people saying like, no, Francis is a way harder puncher. But I don't think so. I think that Deontay's I think he's just a different type of puncher because he's used to punching like that. I was just wondering what your opinion was.
Well, if you want an inside breakdown from sparring, see, someone like Tyson who's been boxing all the life, or any boxer who's been boxing for like most of their life, a lot of boxers fight very similar. They go double jab right hand, they go 1-2 left hook, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not too dissimilar, especially you come through the amateur circuit and you go Olympic route and all that kind of stuff. A lot of these guys have very, very, very similar styles. Now, when you throw someone in, like a Deontay Wilder, like a Francis Ngannou, who's throwing looping shots and uppercuts and doing all kinds of unorthodox stuff, the boxers aren't as used to it as they would. Like, for example, if Tyson Fury boxed Anthony Joshua, it would be the easiest fight ever for him, mate. The easiest fight ever, because he's so basic. Mm-hmm. He's going 1-2, he's going double jab, he's going left hook, right hand, he's going 1-2 left hook, basic combinations. Whereas if he's fighting someone like a Wilder who's just throwing a big looping right hook randomly, like, it's going to be much harder for someone who's a bit more unorthodox. Like, it's much harder for a traditional boxer to fight someone more unorthodox. So I can see Francis bringing a few more problems than somebody like an Anthony Joshua would to Tyson Fury. But Tyson knows this. He's smart. That's why he's trying to get guys like me. He's been asking me if I know any more big MMA fighters who can come in and do unorthodox stuff, because it's pointless Tyson sparring boxers who are going to do the normal stuff with him. Like
it's a waste of time.
It's absolute waste of time. He needs to get guys that are going to come in ready for a scrap, ready for winging some wild shots that he's not used to, and play it that way, as opposed to, it's pointless in getting like a national champion boxer in, because Ngannou's nothing like that. He's going to do wild stuff that he's not used to.
Well, they don't conform to the rules. You know what I mean? There's a certain set of unwritten rules that boxers oblige by, and even mixed martial artists as well. You know what I mean? We kind of expect certain patterns in the striking, a certain shot to follow certain shots. You know what I mean? And it's the same in the boxing world. That's why what you're talking about, to a lesser degree, it's like when you spar an absolute novice, a complete beginner, and they end up hitting you with the most ridiculous, stupid shot. It's like, they don't even know what they're doing. So how am I supposed to make a read on what they're doing? You know what I mean? Right. And it's not the same comparison, but that's kind of, I think that illustrates a little further your point. And I think, no, it's a really good point. Tom, we won't keep you too much longer. Thank you for your time, mate, because I know you're a media darling these days. You're doing the rounds, I feel like we discovered you. I think we're the Believe You Me podcast. We take the full credit for all your success. Never mind your father, Andy. You know what I mean? It's coming on here, this platform. That's why you're going to get the Jon Jones fight. That's why you're going to be a multi-millionaire. Hold on that.
Okay.
Have you allowed your brain to go there, being a multi-millionaire?
Yes. I've allowed my brain to go there.
Yeah.
He wanted to lie.
It seems pretty good. I'm not going to lie. In my mind, it seems pretty good. You know what, though? I got orders for my last fight. I've got, in my 7 UFC fights, I've got 5 bonuses. It's a lot of money. Like that money adds up. That money adds up. I've still not bought anything. Like I'm not like a bougie guy. I don't know what to buy with it. You know what I mean? I get questions all the time. Oh, you got to buy?
Rocking round in a Range Rover, you lying bastard.
Yeah, I've got a Range Rover. Yeah. What else have I got? What else have I got to get?
Jesus Christ. He said he's acting like he's driving around in like a Dodge Pinto or something.
Yeah, I know.
That's a sponsored Range Rover. I don't pay full price for it. I don't even pay full price.
I'm joking, mate. I'm joking. I'm happy for you.
My last question, man. I can't let you go without asking. Would you be upset if Stipe Miocic beats Jon Jones, and then it's you versus Stipe instead of maybe trying to be the first one to knock off Jon Jones? Because that's still a pretty big deal too.
It's definitely a big deal. I fucking love Stipe. The only issue that I've got with Stipe, I mean, it's not an issue. As I keep saying, like, you never know what's going to happen in heavyweight MMA. It's just wild. So if Stipe come out and flatlined him, I also wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But Stipe is now, correct me if I'm wrong, he's like 42 years old or something like that.
Right.
He's been inactive for like 2-3 years. He's got a lot of miles on the clock. And he's up against it. He's up against it big time. But if he did pull it off, fair play, like, I would love that fight as well. But I don't know. I feel like I've maybe got one more to go before I get in the title picture. I think I've maybe got a number one contender fight to go before that. So I know there's Sergey Pavlovich is flying around. I think he's trying to wait. I think they're going to bring him in as a backup fighter. I've heard.
That's a big scary dude.
He's a big scary dude, definitely.
Does he make you nervous? Himself. Does he make you as nervous as he makes me?
Mate, they all make me nervous, but especially.
Well, I don't even like standing near him. He makes me uncomfortable. He's just big and scary looking.
He's quite a nice man, you know. Yeah, I quite like him.
Is he nice?
Yeah. He was asking me for a picture after the last UFC London. I was in an elevator, just me and him, and I shit my pants. I'm like, oh God. And he was like, picture. I'm like, yeah, sure. Just don't knock me out. Tom, a couple of quick questions for you. The first real question. There's talk that come Madison Square Garden in November that Stipe retires after this, and that Jon Jones retires after this as well. There's been, that's a rumor circulating, floating around. How do you feel if those two guys both walk away from the sport and you never get to fight either of them? Or do you give a damn?
To be honest, it would be great to fight both of them, especially Jon Jones, because I've nothing against Jon, but everyone's saying he's the GOAT now because he's won titles at both divisions. And in my opinion, Stipe is the heavyweight GOAT, but they're saying that Jon Jones is the GOAT overall. So if he's that, obviously I want to, if I can beat that guy, that'll be awesome. But my ultimate goal, mate, since day one in this thing, is I want to be UFC heavyweight champion. And that doesn't really matter, like, who I take it off or who I fight for it. It doesn't really matter. Like, if I could fight them, that'd be amazing. Like, that, they're just bonuses for me. But ultimately, I'm trying to be UFC heavyweight champion of the world. So, who the opponent is quite irrelevant, I guess. But it would be nice to fight them for sure.
Right, final question, bit of a silly one here. I went to Twitter and I said, look, listen, we've got Tom Aspinall joining us. We've also got Dustin Jacoby joining. Questions for them. So the house cat who watches MMA, I don't know if you follow this guy on Twitter. He just posts pictures of cats and pretends that the cat is asking questions all the time. And it's very comical, to be honest. He says this, and what is the wildest thing you've seen go down at a Wetherspoons? and for those people that don't know, Wetherspoons is a chain, Anthony, of pubs in England. You know what I mean? Where it gets a bit rowdy. So what's the wildest thing you've seen go down at a Wetherspoons?
That's an easy one for me. I can tell you about this. So I used to work the door, right? Well, I used to work on a nice bar, on a really nice bar. And I was the shittest doorman ever. I never did anything. I didn't do it. Unless people were like throwing punches at each other, I wouldn't do anything. I was the worst. But next door was a Wetherspoons. And the doorman had gone inside for a while in the Wetherspoons. Usually, if a doorman's going inside, it means obviously kicking off, like people are fighting in there. And if they're in there for a while, it's not going to be quick. Like, people are getting hurt, there's stuff going on. And me and my colleague were stood at the front of our bar, and we've seen the doorman from Spoons go inside, run inside. So we just left it, and like a few minutes went by, and we're like, fucking hell, no one's coming out. We're gonna have to go inside and see what's going on, even though it's not our bar. Like that's what we do sometimes.
Heroes.
Yeah, heroes. See, we'd help each other out. You know what I mean? So we ran it. As we ran it, a guy is biting another guy's nose off, and then he went to spit it out. As he was going to spit it out, his friend said, "Don't spit it out, because he'll be able to sew it back on." So the guy had swallowed his nose.
Oh my!
Don't spit it out, because he might be able to sew it back up. We've got this bastard running around with no nose. Swallow it.
That's a true story. Well, I couldn't make that. I couldn't make that up. That's a true story. That's a true story.
Don't spit it out.
Yep.
But so then what happened?
He swallowed it.
The guy's got no nose, just like a piece of cartilage or bone.
I've never seen him since. I don't know. I've no idea. No idea. This is like 10. Probably coming up to about 10 years ago. Yeah, I don't know.
Tommy two legs and Norman no nose. Oh my God. Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant. That's fantastic. Thank you to the house cat who watches MMA, because I almost had a heart attack. Tom, we're going to let you go. Mate, love you, brother. I'm so proud of what you're doing. I really am. Honestly, you and your father and the whole team, you're doing an incredible job. You're representing British mixed martial arts and the sport of mixed martial arts in general at the highest level. You're an absolute class act. You're a monster inside the octagon. You're a sweet guy. Proud to call you a friend. I'm sure Anthony feels the same way. Mate, all the best to you and your father and everyone. Good luck at everything you're doing, and we'll talk soon, man.
Thanks, boys. I'm not even going to try and come back from that, but I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, take care, man.
Go on, get out of here. All right, guys, let's talk about a new sponsor, which is 10,000. Listen, are you looking for workout shorts that are functional, that look good, that look stylish, that make you feel comfortable and confident in the gym? Then 10,000 is the way to go. 10,000 training shorts are designed with purpose and packed with premium details. Every pair of shorts has been put through countless hours of field testing with elite athletes to deliver ultimate performance, comfort, and durability, and all backed by an ironclad lifetime guarantee. They are 4-way stretch for max range of motion, no pinch, no bunch waistbands. They are sweat wicking and quick drying materials. There's an optional anti-chafe liner, permanent anti-odor treatment, and no bounce pocket system for your phone, cash cards, and keys. And they're available in 5-inch, 7-inch, and 9-inch inseams. So if you want them super short, budgie smugglers, we call them, go for the 5. If you want more of a board short look, go for the 9. But either way, they are stylish. They look good. They're really, really comfortable. They're fantastic. That is why they've got over 36,000 5-star reviews. 10,000 makes the highest quality, best fitting, and most comfortable training shorts I have ever worn. And that's a fact. Perfectly designed for all the ways that you train. So whether you're lifting, doing high intensity workouts, yoga classes, hitting pads, on the morning run, whatever it is, 10,000 has you covered. So if you're looking to upgrade your training gear, go to 10,000.cc and use the promo code BELIEVE for 15% off your entire order. I love these shorts. They sent me some samples. They're absolutely fantastic. They look good. They feel good, and you will love them. One more time. That is 10,000.cc. 10,000.cc, promo code BELIEVE, 15% off your entire order. 10,000.cc, promo code BELIEVE, 15% off. Enjoy. Oh my God, old Norman No-Nos.
Oh, Norman No-Nos. That's a t-shirt idea right there.
Norman No-Nos. You know what I mean?
You know the guy that does the cartoons where he does like a skit as the story's being told? That's the perfect one. Where it's just a little cartoon character of the guy getting his nose bit off. Like, don't spit it out. And he swallows it.
Yeah, but it's like, don't spit it out, because he'll be able to sew it back on. That just shows the nastiness of those bastards. They're like, no, don't spit it out. We want this asshole walking around with no nose. And you know what, to be honest, in places like that, with the Wetherspoons and whatnot, and I don't know where he was, in Manchester probably, there's no big reason for the fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, one guy looked at him wrong. The other guy kind of flexed on him and said, what are you looking at, dickhead? And it kind of went from there, and it all kicks off. And it's at that point, the hatred is that much. Swallow the nose.
That's insane.
Under no circumstances do we allow the man to have his nose surgically reattached. Okay, that's how far the hatred is going. We got Bisping one eye. We got Tommy two legs. We got Anthony Smith half an ankle. Magomed ankle Iron Smith, and then we got Norman no nose. We're all bloody invalids.
He said Magomed Uncle Live ankle.
Oh, dearie me. Brilliant.
God damn.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Tom was joining us there. Wanted to get on earlier rather than later, obviously, with the time difference in the UK. He's smashing it, as we know. Needs to buy some better equipment. Sound was bad.
He could really, he could get a setup going, but when you don't get, I'm sorry, I know I'm looking lost here. We got Dustin Jacoby coming on, and I'm trying to find my phone so I can check in to make sure that he's coming. Oh, found it. That he's coming on. That he's all set up to go, and I couldn't find my phone.
Oh, geez, Louise. Well, Dustin Jacoby is joining us, but we have got a lot of things to talk about. I'm not sure where we go because we've got about 8 minutes until he joins us. I need to run for a pee in a second, though. So I will be doing that because I'm bursting. What should we start with? We just had a great chat with Tom. I don't really want to get into this, but because it's kind of depressing and sad, but it's a real conversation. And have you seen what's happening in Maui?
I did. I seen Kendall Grove. I follow Kendall Grove. Obviously, he's a friend of yours, right?
Very, very good friend. He's like a brother. We trained together for years. He was on the Ultimate Fighter. He comes and stays at my house. I texted him this morning. I said, how's everything going? Obviously, he lives on Maui for those people that don't know. Mm-hmm. He said, he's fine. But my brother-in-law lost everything. House completely burned to the ground.
Oh my God. Look at that.
So far, 36 people dead. The town or the city of Lahaina completely ablaze. It's insane. And number one, can you, people jumping into the sea, into the ocean to get away from the flames. The smoke is ridiculous. Smoke inhalation, that's a real killer. If a house is on fire, you'll die from the smoke inhalation before the flames even get to you. So, that's a massive concern in itself.
You said Kendall's okay, though?
Kendall's okay. His whole family, they're okay. But his brother-in-law lost his entire house. And that's just one of, I'm sure, hundreds, thousands of people.
Do they know how it started?
So a wildfire and then a hurricane came very close to the island. So a little fire starts, big fire, small fire, I don't know, a wildfire started. But then with the hurricane, the winds just got out of control.
It just takes it everywhere.
And listen, hopefully in the next day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever, I'm sure they'll get it under control. But the city of Lahaina, I've been there. I love Maui. Maui's like paradise. I went there for my wedding or honeymoon. We were going to go back next year. You know what I mean? But we were going to it's our 10-year anniversary. We were going to go back. It sounds really bad, but it's devastating for certain areas right now. It's going to really affect the tourism industry, and that's one of the main drivers. This is
their main income.
Island life.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's terrible. It's awful, man. People just they're so crazy. One day you got everything, and the next day you lose it all. That's insane. It's absolutely insane.
No, it really is. It really is. But so I just want to say best wishes. I'm not going to say thoughts and prayers because that would be very, very hypocritical of me. It would be. But man, listen, geez Louise, it's just awful. So thoughts to everyone I know out there, and hopefully that situation gets under wraps. Should we have a quick laugh? I like laughs. Before Dustin Jacoby joins us, should we have a quick laugh at Dillon Danis?
Oh, God.
What is going on? We've got lots of MMA to talk about.
He's not fighting.
The only reason I'm talking about this is because we've got Dustin Jacoby joining us in a minute, and I don't want to have an in-depth discussion. We got some real hard-hitting topics to get into. We're going to have a debate. You know what I mean? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was never paid. We've got kind of conflicting opinions on this whole situation. We're going to have a good conversation, but we haven't got time for that now. We've got Dustin joining us, so we can we'll fill a few minutes by ripping the piss out of Dillon Danis. The last time he was in action, he was choked out by Chance the Chocolatier. He's had 2 fights in Bellator. He's never boxed. He's a grappler. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, and now he's fighting Logan Paul on the undercard of KSI and Tommy Fury. And if he doesn't show up, he has to pay a $100,000 fine.
But one, he doesn't beat Logan Paul.
No.
Very highly unlikely. I feel like Dillon couldn't bust a fucking grape. It's not his thing. He's a great jiu-jitsu guy for sure. I'll never take that away from him. He's been supremely
Take it away from him. Take it away.
Take what away?
The jiu-jitsu skills as well. Let's just give him no credit. He's beating 0-1 guys in Bellator.
Yeah, he's not even good at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck that guy. No, I don't like how Dillon's been posting pictures of Logan Paul's fiance with a bunch of other guys all over Twitter.
No.
Yeah, he's been obviously we all had a life before we met our significant other. So there's a picture of her walking hand in hand with Leonardo DiCaprio. And then there's a picture of her like getting her face licked by some other guy. It's like pictures that were caught at a bad time. Like how many times has your wife like leaned in for a kiss and you like do something fucking stupid and lick her face or something? I do it all the time. Maybe
I hope no pictures come out of Leonardo DiCaprio licking her face. We're going to have a serious conversation.
Well, before you met her, you know what I mean?
Yeah, again.
Harrington just said.
When was Leonardo DiCaprio
a nude photo of her? Like
that's off the table.
Yeah,
up.
topless.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Harrington?
We'd never make it to the fight. There's no way. There's no way I'd be able to just keep and maybe that's the whole point, and that's what Dillon Danis is trying to do is get under his skin. But there's just some things that are off limits. There's some things that even in the world of sport, even the world of fighting, where we're trying to take each other's heads off, there's some things that are fucking off limits. But Dildo Danis isn't a fighter. He doesn't know any better. He doesn't even know the rules of fighting because he isn't a fighter.
Let's not show those pictures because I don't want to go down the same route as Dillon Danis. And you're absolutely right. There is an unwritten rule. You can say whatever you want about me. You can say whatever you want about my training partners, my coaches, whatever, my team. You can do that. You can go there. You leave my wife and my children out of this. And if you mention them, as you said, I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I think now I'm a little bit older and a little bit more stable, shall we say. The younger version, for sure. I mean, like, obviously, Jorge Rivera, he talked a bit of shit, started bringing the family into it a little bit, and that was enough for me. And I was like, when I see that guy, I'm probably going to attack him. When I went into that fight, I'm not here for a mixed martial arts contest. I'm coming to kick your fucking ass, bro. And I meant it, every word, and that's what happened. But yeah, as you say, and it probably is because he's not a fighter. He's at best a social media influencer, a troll.
Yeah, I'd be on a fucking flight to JFK. I'd be on my way to JFK right now, wandering the streets of New York looking for Dillon Danis.
So I don't understand that. So just clarify it for me. So this is Logan Paul's fiance, just pictures of before they were together.
Before they were together, yeah.
All right. So Jesus Christ, my God. Yeah. That's not cool.
Shout out Logan Paul though for snatching up one of Leonardo DiCaprio's exes. That's pretty cool. Hey,
that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
You know what? And I like Logan actually. Like, I don't think that Logan has ever said anything where I've been like, wow, what a fucking asshole. Like, yeah, Jake for sure, but Logan seems much more down to earth, respectful. And even when he said, when they were talking, remember they did the little questionnaire, like, would you win a fight with Michael Bisping? Even in saying he thinks he would win, it was pretty respectful.
Yeah, no, it was, but it still just got my back up a touch. But other than that, sure. You're absolutely right, though. I've never seen him be controversial. I've never seen him be. You're right. He does seem like a pretty nice guy. I tell you what, though, this morning I'm led in bed. I woke up, got in at 2 a.m. We had the power slap last night. Save your bullshit comments because it was fucking awesome. It was amazing. What a night. I got in very, very late. I'm sitting there having my coffee, scrolling Twitter, and this clip comes up of Logan Paul and Jake Paul just recently on a podcast. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Jake Paul and Logan, but Jake's attacking Logan saying, well, you're not very good. You're not as good a boxer as me. And they're basically arguing. It was a fascinating clip because I thought these two would have been very, very close. You know, but I forget which way.
There's a couple of them out there from that same little interaction where Logan Paul is mad that Nikisa
Nate Diaz.
Do what? No, Nikisa, sorry. His manager, Jake's manager, wouldn't allow them to promote the KSI versus Logan Paul fight. He wouldn't allow him to bring in a prime bottle or a prime drink to promote his brand or whatever, while on the flip side of it, they promoted Jake Paul's fight versus Nate Diaz. And then essentially Jake is like, fucking get over it. because you're partnered with KSI and he doesn't like KSI.
Well, hold on. Before you press play, also, I think as well, because Nikita doesn't manage Logan Paul, so he's being a little petty there. He's like, hold on a minute. We're not using this platform to benefit somebody that I don't get a percentage of, which maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
which
I'm wrong.
Which is kind of messed up, though. Like, and I think Logan said Nikita isn't, like, on Team Paul. He's on Team Jake, and that's fucked up because we're supposed to be brothers and we're supposed to do this thing together. And I've always promoted your shit, and you won't promote mine. Essentially,
what are the two Fs?
Do I?
What are the two Fs?
One of the two Fs.
What are the two Fs? Not Frankie.
Oh, I don't know.
Family first.
Family first. You would think so.
Boom.
Hey.
The Hanyak. Hey. What's going on, mate? You're looking like bloody Crocodile Dundee. You're wrestling alligators.
Listen, I tell you what, I've been on the golf course. I was on hole number 12. A big-ass storm just came in. It was like a tornado started pouring on us. We rushed up to the clubhouse. I hopped in my truck. My other two buddies.
The following Thursday.
Oh, such a shame. I wanted to speak to Dustin. You need to have a word with your boy, Anthony. They're out there golfing. They're on the biggest platform, and we didn't get an MMA award nomination, but everyone knows.
Which is kind of bullshit. I don't not to bring it up again, but it's bullshit.
I'm fuming. But let's go back to hating on Jake and Logan. And we're not hating on them, by the way, but we were just talking about that conversation they had, and I believe the number one podcaster producer in all of podcast producing has the video ready for us, Brian.
That's ridiculous. I couldn't bring in a Prime bottle. DAZN, who, by the way, on the Misfits card, KSI's event, promoted the fuck out of your fight against Nate Diaz. DAZN was not allowed to promote the Prime card. That's ridiculous. Whose ass was that? It was Nikisa's dude. Nikisa's on your team. He's not on Team Paul. He's on Team Jake. And we're a family. And he knows that. And so, yeah, bro. He doesn't get along with everyone either.
Why would I want to promote his event? It's KSI's event.
Because I'm on it. I'm on the undercard.
Yeah, but they could promote you versus Dillon, but you guys weren't even announced yet.
But I'm on the card. We announced that.
Yeah, but this is the thing is like it's all like you understand why, but then like you just don't want to accept the reality.
No, the reality is the tables were turned. The Misfits event promoted your fight against Nate Diaz. And you refuse to promote KSI's fight.
Wait, but if they want to, if the zone is on, if Misfits is on DAZN and they promote our event, that has like, okay, cool.
But our fight is on DAZN too. And by the way, that's super fucking whack of DAZN as well. It's not just you guys. I think it's lame that they yielded to whose ever request that was.
No, because it's our event. We're in control of what goes on there. Of course.
I just think it's lame. And also
I'm not gonna promote their event. What the fuck? Why would I do that? That's stupid.
Because they did it to you. And
because I don't know why the fuck they would do
Cat's
that.
got your tongue, Jake.
Yeah, they don't have that out in their fucking contract clauses. Idiots. That's their fucking problem. Stupid fucks. We're smart, diligent. We think of fucking everything that goes on in all of our events.
If you were really smart, you'd know that we are all doing this. But this isn't an or space. It's an and space. You don't have.
I love that. That last little part is really smart.
I just want to say this, and it's only because, again, I don't know Jake, right? But he likes to send me abusive messages and all the rest of it.
He never sends me shit. It's bullshit.
And I know we talked about this, but it's just piggybacking on that. And that wasn't the clip that I saw this morning. They were talking about some other thing about the Nate Diaz fight, and they were kind of bickering and saying who was the better boxer and stuff. But that right there, that to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but Jake's whole stance is that he's the Robin Hood of the combat sports world. He's trying to go against the big monopolies. He's trying to do it. He's trying to help the little man. He's trying to pay fighters their fair worth. He's trying to start a union. He's out here trying to spearhead a movement so that fighters get taken care of better. He won't even promote his own fucking brother's show on his fight because him and his manager don't get a fucking cut of it.
Well, and they don't get along with KSI.
Stance is fucking bullshit. It is bullshit. And if that doesn't demonstrate that right fucking there, Jake, stop sending me messages because you're full of shit. You're a fraud, and you couldn't even string a sentence together there to defend yourself. Shut up.
And it's like he's not even like I mean, you said it fucking perfectly. I don't know how I could say it. I don't know how I could say it any better than that. But like he shit on his own brother just to spite KSI. Like, forget KSI. What about every person on that card that's trying to make money? If that card does shit, those guys aren't going to make any money at all. So he could have set his own arguments with KSI to the side, accepted that KSI's event, promoted his event, and then try to help these other people on the undercard make some fucking money.
Because that's what he's all about. That's
I loved what Logan said at the end, though. This isn't a or space. This is an and space. And it's everybody's, even your I said this last week when people were talking shit about the Jake Paul Nate Diaz fight. Like, everyone's looking at this as Bellator's competing with PFL and Bellator competing with the UFC. And then there's this freak show boxing stuff. It's just, we're all building each other. It's just combat sports content. Like, no one's really choosing one over the other. If you're gonna consume these products, you're probably going to watch them all. So I thought it was great to have the UFC event and like when they did Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence the same night as was that the Salt Lake City card. Like, I thought it was great because now it's like we're talking about them both and they're going head to head, and now people are trying to figure out how to watch them both. I think they build each other. I like how Logan said that this isn't an and space, or this isn't an or space, it's an and space. I like that.
Well, you are correct when you say it's the wider conversation about combat sports and then permeating the mainstream as a general rule. But also he's probably also talking about, hey, this is us. We're brothers. We're family. We're building our brand. We're building our fortune. We're building a future for our children that are yet to be born, yet to be conceived. We're building a brand and an empire. We should be working together. And then, of course, for the wider picture of combat sports. Now, I will say this, if we play devil's avocado for a second, and it's not a very good case of devil's advocate, maybe the sibling rivalry, which is a very real thing, but it doesn't need to be, because they're both ultra successful, ultra famous, and they're both doing big things. Maybe there's a little bit of jealousy from Jake as well, because his brother's smashing it in the WWE. And the clip that I saw this morning, they're both arguing over who should have got to fight Nate Diaz, and they were both arguing over who was the better boxer. In fact, Brian says he's got that clip, or Harrington, should I say. Thank you, Herringbone. Just check this one out as well. And again, we're going to move on because we've got deeper things to talk about, but I hadn't seen that clip, and it is kind of interesting. And I'm not just taking an opportunity to shit on Jake. I'm not. It's only because I say these things, and it seems like I'm very passionate about it. It's because he does talk shit about everyone. He does make himself out to be the Robin Hood of combat sports, when clearly that goes against the grain of what he is saying. Roll this 100%. Tape, please.
Tommy Fury's on my fucking radar. I have him in my scopes. I wanted it when Jake was fighting him.
No, I'm gonna finish him off first. I gotta handle that business first.
We'll see, bro, because you definitely sniped the Nate Diaz fight from me, and I've been so lenient in giving you your opponents.
But it's not your option to give me my opponents. You haven't fought anyone. You don't fight real fights. It's just not your option to give me my opponents. You're not even a fighter. Like, you do exhibitions and lost like 4 years ago. So it's not your option to like give me my fights. That me and Nate Diaz have been talking about that for years, and then you popped up and were like, no, now it's my turn, I want that fight, and then start talking shit, and then try to like get the fight in Saudi Arabia, like on the microphone, and like trying to like jump in on all of these things.
I think I'm better than you, and I think Nate chose you for a reason, and I think everyone knows that.
But what have you done to prove that you're better than me?
I don't know. Went toe to toe 8 rounds with the greatest boxer of all time. What do you think happens if you fight Floyd Mayweather?
I would knock him out,
bro.
100%.
Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous.
This is
Jake didn't argue. Jake didn't argue when he said, because I'm better than you. He said, well, what have you done to show that you're better than me? Like, he didn't argue with him, though. He just said, you just haven't showed anybody that.
Or again, a very wild accusation of a devil's avocado here. Unless they're marketing geniuses and they're building this up to a real life scenario of the movie Warrior, where two brothers are ultimately going to go head to head, and they're going to. And I know I'm joking. I don't think it's that at all.
Jake's not that smart.
Well, he doesn't seem. But he couldn't string a sentence together, bro. I thought you're helping the little guy out. You won't even help your brother because your manager doesn't get a cut of it. And I don't know Nikisa, right? Don't know him at all. So, but that's what it certainly at surface level would appear to be. And and Logan's flying. He's doing great things in the WWE. He's fighting. Who's he fighting? Dillon Danis. Oh, God. That's how we got onto this shit show. All right, guys, I want to tell you about Kachava, which is one of our newest sponsors. And I am telling you, this supplement, this super blend of superfoods and greens and proteins and everything that you need for your body is amazing. Listen, long gone are the days now where you have to go in and you're going to have a protein powder, you're going to have your super greens, you're going to have your probiotics, your adaptogens, your antioxidants. Kachava has blended it all together in one. It gives you everything that your body craves and you will feel your absolute best. And the good thing is they are delicious. They are absolutely beautiful. It's creamy, smooth, and it comes in 5 delicious flavors. They've got the chocolate, the vanilla, the chai, the matcha, and the coconut acai. Listen, as I said, before you had to have your protein. Well, this has 25 grams of plant protein per serving. And as I said, it's got the superfoods, it's got the greens, the proteins, the antioxidants, the adaptogens, and the probiotics. And let me tell you, you feel fantastic after this. I'm really noticing a difference in my recovery from lifting weights. It's really helping with the protein synthesis. You feel great afterwards. You are energized throughout the day. I'm going to the bathroom nice and regularly, and it looks good when it's coming out. Anyway, moving on from that because it's disgusting, but this stuff is fantastic. Get it all in one. Get all the goodness and all the vitamins, minerals, proteins that your body needs in one little scoop of Kachava, and you can get 10% off for a limited time. So right now, go to kachava.com, Kachava, kachava.com/believe. You'll get 10% off your first order. Kachava.com/believe. Right, let's move on before all the subscribers piss off.
Before my head fucking explodes.
Yeah, I'm losing brain cells. I haven't got many to keep. You know what I mean? So I need to keep them. Right, let's talk about this. And before I bring this up, I'm going to say, listen, I'm well aware that people say Bisping's a company man, okay? And I say, I am. The UFC has transformed my life in so many ways, and I live a life that I never thought possible. And Dana's been a good friend to me over the years. And I'm forever grateful for the opportunities that I still continue to receive. So what I'm about to say is not because of that. It's not because of that. And just to kill the suspense, I'm talking about the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson situation. I saw a video this morning of Dana. I think it was at the post-fight press conference at the Contender, because Wonderboy was supposed to fight Michelle Pereira on the last pay-per-view. Pereira came in 3 pounds overweight, and Wonderboy declined the fight, which is his right. And we know that statistically, 51.4% of the time, the heavier fighter wins the fight. Now, that's only a tiny margin. It's almost 50-50. You could say it's the luck of the draw, but whatever, 51.4. So there's 1.4% increased chance. He turned the fight down. The way it goes is, depending on the commission and the amount of weight missed, it's 20 or 30% goes to Wonderboy, as a as a punishment for missing weight, but also as an incentive to take the fight. I'll give you your take in a minute. And then, Brian, just get ready to roll this tape quickly as well. And he turned it down. Then apparently, from what Dana said, they offered him another fight, a quick turnaround in maybe 2 weeks or whatever. And apparently he declined that as well. Okay. And I love Wonderboy. I am not shitting on Wonderboy. But when you look at it from a business mind perspective, so he declined on the commission, the 20-30%. He declined the new opponent and then still wanted to be paid. And Dana said in this clip, which we'll play in just a second, that if it was, let's say, an entry-level fighter who's getting $10,000, $20,000, then maybe they'd pay that guy. But if it's $250,000, which was his show money, right, they're not just going to cut that check because They said, what we'll do is we'll have a conversation. We'll look at your camp training costs and all the rest of it, and we'll figure something out, and we'll give you some form of compensation. But you can't just say that you're not going to fight and expect to get paid $250,000. And I've got to say, and this is where I know I'm probably going to get abused, but I think when you look at the cold hard facts of it, I kind of agree. They did give a 20 or 30% reward incentive. They did offer him a new opponent, and he still chose to not accept it. And I feel like that's a fair situation. It's a fair balance. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a fair compromise as to the shit show that Michelle Pereira created by missing weight. It wasn't the UFC, and then now everyone's slagging off Dana, slagging off the UFC, and all the rest of it. Think about this. If they paid him, and if that was the rule, that they pay him his full show money, anytime a fighter is facing an opponent that misses weight, all they've got to do is say, well, I'm not going to fight. I don't have to go through the hardship. I don't have to go through the grueling fight. I haven't got to risk my health. I haven't got to do anything, and I'm still going to get paid. That's it. If you're running a business, you can't have that written down in the contract, because that's just wild. And it's open to manipulation. It's open to people not adhering to what they're supposed to do, because they have a loophole to get out if their opponent misses weight and still get paid. It's a fucked situation. I sympathize with Wonderboy, but just play that real quick, and then Anthony, I'll let you take the ball and I'll shut the hell up.
Wonderboy said that he wasn't paid for showing up. Is that something new in the contracts where, like, you don't have to make weight and get your show money? Or he also said that he didn't talk to you yet. So
right. So how that works is guys don't just get paid to not fight. It's not how that works. Guys have been paid. We've taken care of guys. Hey, listen, if you come in and you're making short money, we take care of you. You come in and you don't fight. First of all, you decided not to fight. The guy was 3 pounds overweight, whatever it was. You get a piece of his purse if you take the fight. But if you decide you don't want to take the fight, we also offered him another fight. You know, there's a much bigger story behind the scenes. And no, you don't just show up and say, yeah, I'm not going to fight. I want $250,000. It's not the way it works. It hasn't worked that way for anybody. So what we do is we try to get you another fight. We try to turn you around quickly. If you don't turn around quickly, then we try to figure out, well, what did it cost for your camp? We'll reimburse you. You know, there's a lot of different ways that this gets worked out. You don't just go, yeah, this guy's 3 pounds over, I'm not going to fight, and no, I won't take another fight 2 weeks later and pay me my show money. Not how it works. You don't fight, you don't get paid necessarily in the contract. But we always make sure that we take care of everybody. And, you know, we're working it out with Wonderboy right now. It's all being worked out behind the scenes, and this should all be worked out by Saturday.
There we go. I don't have any problem with it, to be honest with you. I don't. I do tend to be careful so that I don't always sound like the company guy, but I think a lot of times when we get accused of being the company man or the shills, it's because we're rational. And you and I have been in this game a very, very long time.
Thank you.
And we see both sides of it. And we're also mature enough to say, sometimes us as fighters were a little bit unreasonable, to be fair. And sometimes we let the media and the fans and stuff get us rolling and we start thinking and saying stupid shit. I've been there, I've done it. And I don't know, I've been around long enough to see this go both ways. And we're also a little bit older than most of the other fighters. So I don't know, maybe we just understand how business works. You run your own personal businesses. I have my own personal businesses. You can't just pay people large sums of money for nothing. That's not how you run business. And I'm a huge Wonderboy fan. I agree with his decision to not take that fight. I'm very happy that he was in a position to where he wasn't financially forced to take that fight when he didn't want to. He's had guys miss weight before, and it's never worked out for him. So I don't doubt. And even if it technically, physically, athletically, I don't think that the 3 pounds and this specific fight would have mattered because of the style. It's not like Michelle Pereira was going to go out shooting blast double legs and ground, and he's not going to grind him out. It's just not his style. I don't think it would have mattered. But if it matters in here to Stephen, then please don't take the fight. Like, I agree with that. You made a commitment. Your opponent didn't. And him. I don't think that Stephen Thompson probably expected his full show money. I don't know that I've ever seen him or heard him say that. I think that he's been answering questions, and it makes the media sometimes or the interviewers make it seem like that Stephen's, I want my show money and I haven't gotten it. I think they asked him a question, have you gotten paid yet? And he said, no, I haven't talked to Dana. Dana was on vacation. And he did say that him and Dana would work it out. And Dana just said, like, we'll figure something out. And I don't necessarily disagree with Stephen not taking the additional fight that was offered to him. I don't see any issue there either, because he's in his 40s. He just did a tough weight cut. Stephen Thompson gets pretty big. He himself has a pretty tough weight cut. He doesn't want to do that again twice in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever the fuck it is. So I agree. I agree that he should not have fought Michel Pereira, and I agree that he probably shouldn't have taken a fight in 2 weeks. But you gotta be a little bit. There has to be some compromise on the pay, and I'm sure that he'll get something. I don't think he's going to leave that situation in the red.
I agree with everything you said. And again, we always get called the shills, you know, but after seeing that statement there, because this happened a few weeks ago, and I thought, I'm not going to wade in, and I'm not going to upset Stephen. I'm not going to upset the UFC. Who isn't a fan of Wonderboy? Who doesn't appreciate the human being, but also the fighter that he is? You know what I'm saying? Right. He's one of the sport's good guys. Everyone knows that, you know, as you say, if mentally that was going to be a problem for him, if it's going to cause him some anxiety, it's going to make him nervous, it's going to affect his confidence going into it, then he absolutely did the right thing. And he has been on the wrong end of some split decisions. He was talking about the Darren Till fight and the draw with Tyron Woodley. I'm not saying I agree with him on those, but they loomed large in his mind and influenced his decision. Right. And if that's the case, then he did the right thing. And of course, you know, he's on the tail end of his career with respect, because he's almost 40 years old. That's the way it goes. So he didn't want to lose a fight in this regard. And if he felt, then yeah, listen, I stand by his decision. But it comes with a consequence, sadly. And they offered him every route. And the only reason I do this is because Dana does not need me, right, out here on our little show, kissing his ass and sticking up for him. He doesn't. I could say the opposite, and he probably wouldn't give a shit either. You know what I mean? He might not give me a fist bump when he sees me, but I don't think I'd get fired. He certainly doesn't me being a one-man PR machine for him. But it's just because, and Rebecca said this because I was listening to her and it was playing loud, and Rebecca was walking by, probably picking up my shit. And she heard it. She goes, well, she said, and I said, yeah, look at that. I said, that's pretty rational. When you hear it broken down like that, it's pretty rational. And she goes, yeah, well, the thing is, it's so popular to hate the people in power, to hate the successful people. It's so trendy to shit on Dana and to shit on the UFC because they're a monopoly and all the rest of it. They forget about the hundreds, if not thousands of people's lives that the sport has changed. You know what I mean? So I am loyal to that. I am grateful for that. And regardless of whether or not other people want to admit it, and yeah, sure. Granted, maybe other outfits would have come along. But the UFC exploding and doing what it did changed the face of mixed martial arts forever. And it's the reason why we have a podcast. It's the reason why there's so many other promotions. There's a reason why there's so many people making so much money out of combat sports. And Nate Diaz's and your Conor McGregor's and all these big stars is because the UFC came and they did it correct. They broke into the mainstream. They got on national TV when it was human cockfighting, and it changed the landscape of the sport. And that's what I'm loyal to. That's what I'm grateful for. Do you know what I'm saying? And so all these people that love to talk shit, listen, I'm not saying that Dana fucking doesn't always get it 100% bang on and knock it out of the park. You know,
and we've said that. Like there's a different way we could have done that, right?
You know, but on this one here, you cannot. If you look at
Michel Pereira is the one who needs to be shit on here.
Michel Pereira is the one that fucked this whole show up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Anyway, let me know in the comment section. Tell me what a company man I am.
Tell us how big pieces of shit we are.
If you're level-headed, and you take away this narrative that they're the big, evil conglomerate. If you take that lens off and look at it clearly, I think you'll probably find that you agree with us. I don't know. Talking about people that are cheap, this is a segue for you. Harrington, break this down for us and welcome to the show, brother. We've been going on and you haven't even been on yet. Number two, I mean, if you think it's bad the UFC not paying Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, wait until you hear this.
All right. So a man went to a cafe, I think it was a pub actually, in Italy, and he ordered a sandwich. It was him and his friend. It was a vegetarian sandwich, right? No meat. He said, we're going to split it, right? So without asking, the server, I guess, or the people at the restaurant cut the sandwich in half. When he checked his bill later, there was a $2 charge for the cutting in half fee. Sorry, €2 charge. Yeah, he has the receipt here to prove it. See the diviso e meta? That means, I guess, divided by 2. And yeah, $2.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I mean, I probably just would have paid the $2, but I would have definitely asked a question like, did you charge me to cut this sandwich in half? I could have done that shit myself.
And you expect a tip?
Yeah,
you still expect a tip and you charge me $2. Harrison, just come back on a second. Just give me the breakdown of the start of the story, because was it 2 men?
Yeah, it was 2 guys.
2 guys
sharing one sandwich.
One vegetarian.
A vegetarian sandwich, and then they want it sliced in half. I'd have charged them double. You know what I mean? I'm like, hold on, get out my restaurant. What are we doing here?
This is some weird shit. I'm bringing you guys 2 sandwiches. You deal with
it. We're not even
it.
splitting the bill. We're splitting the sandwich. First of all, get a real appetite. Get out and stick a bit of bacon and cheese on there. What's your problem? What are we dealing with here?
Yeah, that's weird.
So he didn't complain in the restaurant. He paid without saying anything, but he did take to TripAdvisor right after.
Oh, you pussy.
To warn people about this business's $2 charge.
Hold on. See, that's even worse. So he doesn't, first of all, he splits the sandwich for him and his buddy.
Vegetarian sandwich.
Vegetarian sandwich. Again, hey, listen, 2023, there's lots of vegans out there. But then he won't even confront them about it. He goes to TripAdvisor. I'll tell you right now.
You better say something.
I'll be honest. All you people in the comments that are calling me a company man and calling Anthony a shill and all the rest of it, you're the ones on TripAdvisor, aren't you? You're the ones going there and saying, hey, I checked into a hotel and the air conditioning was not high enough and the guy didn't smile at me. If that's your issue, don't go on TripAdvisor. Have a word right then and there. Handle it like a man. Take control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Going to fucking TripAdvisor and having a bitch?
That's weird.
What are you?
That's weird as shit. But it's definitely those people in the comments that are talking shit about us. They're the Google review, TripAdvisor comment people for sure.
Have you ever been on TripAdvisor, Yelp, or anything like that?
And left a review?
I mean, I've left good ones because I want to help out a good business, but I've never gone out there and tried to sabotage someone's business.
I've never even left a good one. I read them from time to time to see if it's worth a shit to go to.
And it's very handy.
It is. It is.
Because these days, if you're booking a holiday, which we were doing, we were trying to go to Maui. No offense to the islanders. You look at the reviews, and it's so helpful. Do you know what I mean? People say it was amazing, blah, 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 blah. The drinks are great. The service is amazing. The food's incredible. The rooms are really nice. One little thing, this wasn't too great, but you're like, yeah, I can live with that. Back in the day, there was none of that. You know what I mean?
Wild West.
It was the Wild West. You just look at a picture and go, that looks good. Yeah. Let's go there.
Let's try that one.
And you get there, like, this is not what it looked like in the picture. You know what I'm saying? We are so spoiled in this modern day and age. We have so much access to information. Like anything we want, we can just find out. If we're going to go to a hotel, an airline, a holiday, a resort, a restaurant, whatever it is, you can read all of those comments from you assholes in the comment section. Love you all, by the way. And find out exactly what to expect.
Yeah, me and Michaela do that all the time. We're like, if we're in another city and we want to try a restaurant, we don't get away very often, just the two of us. So I'm not going to waste the one random dinner that we get in another city at some place that fucking sucks. So I got to make sure it's a good place.
when I first signed with the UFC, I started going down to London, and it's not a place that I used to frequent. I'm from the north, and we went there. We're in London. It's me and Rebecca, and we want to go to the best restaurant. We always do this, but I don't know London. I don't know the restaurants. You know what I mean? And I'm walking around, and we're trying to find a place. No. Go to the next place, the next place, the next place. And we do it every time we're in a new city. We just want to find somewhere on a walk. And anyway, in the end, I said, this place looks good. Menu looks good. Come on, let's go in there. And we walk in, but it's dead. It's dead, right? And you don't want to have your meal, your one nice romantic meal, where there's no vibe, no ambiance, no atmosphere, right? So we walked in, he sat us down straight away. And I was like, this ain't the one. This ain't the one. So I came up with some bullshit excuse. I'm sorry, I've just had a phone call. We've got to go. Sorry, I'm so sorry about that. Sorry to waste your time. And we left. Yeah. And we carried on our little search of restaurants. And then in the end, I'm like, fuck it, let's just go back there. That looked good, right? It looked good. It wasn't busy, but fuck it, let's go back there. So we go back there. And when we walk in, try and get the table, the manager knew exactly what was going on. He's like, no, we're full. And the place is pretty much empty. There's like 2 tables. I'm like, but he said, we're full. As if to say, well, we weren't good enough for you a minute ago, so we're not good enough for you now. I'm like, all right, I respect that. Fair enough.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I accept it.
Yeah. Should we talk about some MMA?
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't know. Harrington, what is going on? What's the biggest story right now? Go on, Harrington. What is it in your mind?
I mean, I put it at number 1 in the notes, so you tell me if I'm off my rocker on this one. But
well, you asked me if I'm off my rocker. I said you're off your rocker. Let's go with number 4.
Okay. Okay, let me take a look here then. Number 4, Fedor says that he is ready to make the transition to boxing. You might remember he had the fight against Ryan Bader earlier this year, and then called it quits on a loss there. He said he's not done with combat sports. He wants to get into boxing. He said he would like to fight Mike Tyson, and he'd like to fight Jake Paul, but he doesn't think Jake would ever take that fight.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about the Jake Paul angle to it all. But Fedor Emelianenko, what do you think about that? I mean, legendary career, the last emperor. For a lot of people have him as one of the greatest of all time, and certainly in his prime, he was such a force to be reckoned with. Like always happens, there's a fall from grace. Going over to the boxing world, what do you think, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's matchup specific for sure. I think Fedor would do just fine if you were matched him up correctly. I think a fight with Mike Tyson's probably a little bit unattainable. I think Mike Tyson's going to need bigger names. And honestly, last time I seen Mike, no disrespect at all, but he didn't look like he was in fighting shape. That if you can read between the lines, Mike Tyson's getting older. He's an older man. And so he didn't look like that's the type of guy, but I would love to see Fedor do some boxing. I think, like I said, I think it would be matchup specific for sure.
Well, no man alive's trying to get a fight with Mike Tyson. John Fury.
That's a better matchup. I would like to watch that.
It is. Yeah, and I'd watch that as well. I'm just looking at Fedor's record. Obviously, last time out against Ryan Bader, he was knocked out in round 1. Beat Timothy Johnson by knockout. Quinton Rampage Jackson knocked him out as well. Knocked out by Ryan Bader. Knocked out by Matt Mitrione. But I will say this, it's not been too bad. I mean, you go back to 2011, there's 3 losses in a row. Fabrizio, Antonio Silva, and he was knocked out by Dan Henderson. Then he went on a good win streak. I mean, his final record is still really, really good. 40-7.
Jesus.
40-7, only knocked out 6 times, lost by submission once. I mean, so it's not like the guy was getting slobber knocked all over the place.
No, and even some of those knockouts, they were pretty. Like the Dan Henderson knockout was a competitive fight. Yeah. The Matt Mitrione fight, he had Mitrione hurt pretty bad before he got caught. So I mean, those don't always tell the full story.
It's interesting though, because you would think somebody like Fedor Emelianenko, given the career that he had, given that he was, I wouldn't say he was like a Conor McGregor, but he was like the name back in the day. Randy Couture and Fedor Emelianenko. Of course, this is back in the day where the purses weren't as high now. But from what I'm led to believe, the guys like him were getting paid very, very good money over in Pride. Now, I don't know what we call good money. Brian or Harrington, maybe just have a Google rumored pay for Fedor back in Pride. By the sounds of it or the looks of it, needs the money.
You think that's what it is? You think it's a money thing? I mean, he's pretty tight with Putin and he's pretty deep with Russia.
Yeah.
I guess they're probably not throwing about a bunch of money right now.
Yeah, I think that whole part of the world is struggling in general.
Yeah, I guess that maybe it is a paycheck thing then. That makes sense.
I have no idea. But either way, have you ever met Fedor?
No, never like formally. Been around.
No, me neither. I think he'd be one of those guys that I'd be like a little starstruck in front of,
Yeah.
And I remember simply because when I started training for MMA, I was watching Pride back in the day in its heyday. Fedor, Nogueira, Vanderlei Silva, Crow Cop, all those.
Shogun.
Rampage. And I remember when I fought at UFC 70, it was my second UFC fight on my contract. I was co-main event. Mirko Crow Cop versus Gonzaga was the main
what
event.
A knockout.
Oh God, it was bad. But I remember I was like, I'm like in a room doing press and everything. I'm like, I'm just this kid from Clitheroe. I'm like, what am I doing up here? Who would make you starstruck?
Like fighter wise?
Yes.
I've gotten pretty weird around Rampage a couple times.
Oh yeah.
I think I told you this. We were at the MMA Awards last year. And I just kept like, okay, I'm going to go up and say, well, fuck, I can't say hi. He probably doesn't know who the fuck I am. No, I'll just sit there. And he was like having a drink. And I was like, I started having a couple too. And I started getting ballsy. Like, I'm going to go say what's up and just introduce myself and meet him. Because Rampage was my favorite fighter forever. And I started to do it. And then someone talked to him. And I was like, well, I'm going to go this way. And I just too big of a pussy to say hi.
Well, Rampage should be one of your favorite fighters because that man is the epitome of a fighter. He really is, and I'm proud to say that I was a teammate of his, and we were very close for many years. Of course, the management at the time got involved and ripped me off, and ultimately ripped him off as well. So everything got a bit toxic and sour, and it's such a real shame. But he's a great guy, amazing sense of humor, absolutely bloody hilarious. And in his prime, he was a force to be reckoned with.
He was a monster.
Power that he was a monster, man.
Yeah.
Absolute monster. All right, guys, let's take a quick second to shout out Choq. That is CHOQ.com. Choq, they are a natural testosterone booster. Listen, you might not know this, but men's testosterone levels are at an all-time low. And certainly as you get into my age, get to your age, as you're getting older, it dips. And that causes a lot of things. You don't have as much energy. Your sexual desire goes down. Your wife might not be happy with you. You don't get the best out of your workouts. Energy levels aren't as good. I already said that. And yeah, you just feel a little lackluster in life. Well, that is where Choq comes in with the all-new natural testosterone booster that's taken the world by storm. And I love Choq. Number one, because it works. That's the main reason. It works. There's a lot of crap out there. The supplement world is filled with a lot of imposters, a lot of fakes. There's a lot of nonsense. But Choq Daily is the cleanest, research-based, natural testosterone booster available to you. Also, along with the Choq Daily, be sure to check out the Male Vitality Stack and the Stack Ultra, okay? You want to be careful what you're putting in your body. You want all natural ingredients. But more importantly, when you're parting ways with your hard-earned money, you want something that works. And this works, okay? Other than sticking a needle in your backside, if you want to boost the testosterone, then Choq and Choq.com is the way to go. And right now, we're going to give you 35% off the order. Go to Choq.com. That is CHOQ.com. Use the promo code BISPING at checkout. You will get 35% off your entire order. This is a game changer, and it's a tremendous discount. One more time, that is Choq.com. Promo code is Bisping, 35% off. All right, there you go. Anyway, right, Ben Askren says that Jorge Masvidal for the third time won't grant. No, I don't know if I told you this. Ben Askren says that Jorge Masvidal.
Like you read it and then like reread it and then like read it again, but there's like different tones and inflection, but the same words.
Well, Ben Askren says that Jorge Masvidal won't grant Askren a rematch in MMA because he would embarrass Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup for Masvidal. It's a terrible matchup. I think that the fight with Ben Askren and Jorge went perfectly for Masvidal. But if he doesn't land that flying knee, he runs himself right into a double leg takedown and probably doesn't get back up again till the round ends. It's just, I love Masvidal, but like you get a wrestler like Ben Askren who refuses to strike with you. It's a bad matchup.
Yes.
It's not fun. And it's not fun.
But they did fight in MMA, and he did knock him out in the fastest knockout in the history of the sport.
So why would you do that again?
Every fight is different. But they did fight in MMA.
For sure.
And he was on the receiving end of one of the most viral knockouts ever to grace planet Earth, probably right behind me getting flatlined off Dan Henderson. That's probably a bigger one at my expense. So that's where it makes me roll an eye because they did fight in MMA. And he embarrassed Askren.
Right. So why would he give him another one? Because no matter what, even if you go out there, you throw 5 punches and knock Ben Askren out again, you're not going to top the first one.
No.
So like, I get it. Like if I'm Masvidal, then I'm team Masvidal. I'm a huge Masvidal fan. Love that guy. There's no reason to fight Ben Askren again. Even if Masvidal wanted to come back and fight again, there's more fun matchups that are more intriguing to the fans, that are easier for him to get motivated for than a fight with Ben Askren, who's going to spam takedowns. He's going to shoot. He's going to lay on top of you. And that's not fun at all.
I'm going to ask you this question now, and I'm going to try and deliver it really as respectfully as possible. Obviously, you fly out in a couple of weeks to Singapore, and I'm very excited. You're taking on Ryan Spann. As you said, Masvidal probably couldn't do it any better. Obviously, when you fought Ryan Spann, it was a really utterly impressive, dominant performance. You scared the shit out of me. You looked incredible. Does that, and we've spoke about this before, but it seemed like a natural segue to the conversation we were having. I wasn't planning on asking this, but it's just where the conversation's going. Does that loom in your mind at all? Does that bring any pressure?
Yeah, it does, because that's why, and I guess maybe that's probably why I have the take with Masvidal and Askren. Is I'm in the same position. There's no way I can't top what I did the last time. There's just unless I hit him with a 5-second flying knee, like I can't top it, and that's why I don't know. I think I doubly deserve Ryan Spann's respect because I don't owe him shit. I don't owe him a rematch. Like there's nothing that he did in there that warranted it. So I gave him an opportunity because I want to fight and be active, and so I granted him an opportunity to get another shot at it. But I know that it's a lose-lose for me because I'm not going to dominate him as well as I did the first time. He's going to make adjustments. He's going to be motivated. He wants this one really bad. He's going to be tougher in there because he's angry. He's mad at me. You know what I mean? He's angry at what I made him look like. So it's going to be tougher. So no matter what, it's going to look like he closed the gap. You know what I mean? So it's a lose-lose for me. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because there's goals that I'm trying to accomplish by taking this fight. There's things that I'm focused on. There's techniques that I've worked on. There's things that I'm trying to fix. And the only way to really figure it out and put it to the litmus test is to go fight. So I got to go fight. I didn't want to wait till the end of the year or till next year. I want to stay active. And so that's what I had to do.
And this isn't me again trying to publicly encourage you or publicly kiss your ass or anything like that. You know this. It's still a tough fight. He's still what is he ranked? 10, 9, 8, something like that.
10, I think 10. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a top light heavyweight in the world. And as you say, and I'm not trying to make you nervous either, but to further your point, as you say, it's hard to beat what you did the first time. And it's not like he's some newbie.
Yeah, it's not his first day.
Yeah.
I think he's better than I made him look. And I think I said that from the very beginning, right away. Like, if you put us on a scale and you say it's a 1 to 100 and you got to rank Anthony and Ryan Spann, I think I'd be 85, Ryan Spann would be like 82. Like we're close in skill set. Like we're not that far apart. I think that sometimes the matchup, the way that we match up with each other specifically favors me greatly because it's just the way that he fights and the way that I fight naturally, I think favors me. But you can bet your ass that dude, I keep him up at night and have since we fought. He's not flying 18, 20 hours on just one flight to come to Singapore to lay down for me again. It's not happening. He's incredibly athletic. He's incredibly explosive. He's so talented. Like that guy can sleep you with all 8 limbs, or all 8 weapons. He's good. So that's what I'm preparing for. But I am very aware that no matter what, I'm not going to be able to do to him what I did the last time. And I'm okay with that.
Let me ask you this. Singapore, I'll be there. Are you excited to go to Singapore and fight there?
I am. I'm really excited. I'm not super excited about the flight, but I'm also kind of excited about it. Like it's going to suck. But anytime I've been on those long international flights, and listen, I know that everyone doesn't have this experience or the benefits of being able to be in like a business class pod where you can lay down and relax. But sometimes just being, I don't know, stuck to your own devices for that long, and all you got is some movies, and you just get to shut your brain off because there's absolutely nothing to do. It's kind of nice.
I don't mind it, if I'm honest. I mean, I bitch about it because I'm on planes at airports all the time. But Singapore, it is a cool place. It's very nice. That marina, the bay where you're going to be, is absolutely brilliant.
What day do you get in?
I get in on Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, we should go get dinner or something.
Yeah. I'll be offended if we don't. And if we don't do something after the fight, I'll be...
Well, we're definitely doing something after.
Okay,
I was just thinking about when the weight cut was going to be.
The rooftop at the top of the sands. Okay, there's a big bar there. But I got some nice little running routes. And I tell you what, bud, for cutting weight, the humidity.
Yeah, it's hot, huh?
Wet like a bitch. I'll tell you one thing as well that I very enjoyed. And this might sound a little feminine, but I do love to frequent a nice botanical garden. I do. I often make a point of going to botanical gardens if I'm in a new city. I do. The one... I swear to God, I went to the one in Perth, the one in Sydney. Sydney's botanical gardens, they've got fruit bats dangling down from the trees. Beautiful.
Oh, that's cool.
The one in Singapore. Nashville. Fucking fried chicken sandwiches hanging out of the trees that no one would eat. The one in Malaysia. What am I saying? Singapore, bro. Pretty cool. And
Let's go.
There's this show. It'd be the gayest date ever. Do you know what I mean? But it's okay. It's okay. There are all these trees light up and they do like in sync to like some like classical music and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. We're gonna go. We're going on a date.
Let's do it.
We're going on a date.
We're going on a date.
Botanical gardens. And we're going to film the whole thing and put it on YouTube. Oh, hell yeah. God.
Perfect.
Right, last thing, you're in camp, so we're going to let you go. Thank you as always, because I know it's not easy when you're in camp. So everyone should be very grateful for Anthony. But we got to end on this before we do a quick question, because I think he's a man that deserves our respect. This weekend, Raphael Dos Anjos is fighting again against Vincente Luque, right? Raphael Dos Anjos is some man. I mean, the career he's had, a former lightweight champ, tried to be the welterweight champ. He's literally fought a who's who, right? And he's still going strong at the highest level, going up against Vincente Luque this weekend. So, he's a former training partner of mine. I used to train with him with Perillo at Ruka. I know how hard he works. I know how skilled he is. I know how tough the little bastard is. I mean, give me your thoughts on that fight in general, Anthony.
Man, I wish I would have known we were going to talk about this. I would have pulled his record up really quick, but
I'm doing it right now.
I would say Vincente Luque, or not Vincente Luque, RDA probably has the most impressive strength of schedule out of anybody in the UFC, maybe ever. Just the guys that he's fought, the names he's been in there with, he's held the title, he fights anybody, and he takes the toughest fights, and he's in every single one of them. I don't even know how old he is. It's like, I don't even know how many fights he's won or lost recently, because it doesn't really matter. Like, I just love to see him fight. And I think that guy is absolutely is a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Go ahead.
No. He is. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was like, listen to the schedule. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page. Yeah. This is wild, right? Donald Cerrone, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Benson Henderson, Nate Diaz, Anthony Pettis, Donald Cerrone, Eddie Alvarez, Tony Ferguson, Neil Magny, Robbie Lawler, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, Kevin Lee, Leon Edwards, Michael Chiesa, Paul Felder, Renato Moicano, Rafael Fiziev, last fight, Brian Barberena.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That's fucking insane.
I mean, he went up at welterweight against Leon Edwards, who's now the champ, Kamaru Usman, the former champ, Colby Covington. I mean, he does not give a shit. And he's out there trying to fight. He ain't trying to be tactical. He ain't trying to point them. You know, he's fighting these bastards.
How old
right
is
up
he?
in their face. He looks about 90. Because of the miles. He's 38 years old.
That's it? Man, he's got the career of a 50-year-old. It's insane. God, I just hope good things happen to him. I don't have I don't really have any relationship with either RDA or Vincente Luque. But what a great match! Like, good for the matchmakers to make a fight like this, because that's an absolute banger. I mean, that's an incredible fight.
Yeah, Luque coming off 2 losses, obviously, to Jeff Neal. He was knocked out, and then Bilal Muhammad. And speaking of Jeff Neal, he was fighting Ian Gary. He's out of that fight now. So Neal.
See, I almost dropped this. Remember last week when it was like, oh, and I almost started to talk about it, like Jeff Neal pulling out, and I was like, oh wait, maybe this. I couldn't figure out I couldn't figure out if it was announced and that's where I seen it, or if it was like someone else had told me.
You're holding out on me, Anthony.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, let's not pretend like both of us haven't got those phone calls from the UFC where we accidentally drop info that we thought was announced.
We're supposed to be a team. It's not them. It's us. Whatever the fuck it was.
I'm trying not to get yelled at.
Best of luck to Jeff Neal, Vincente Luque, and the legend Raphael Dos Anjos. Recently, I partnered with a company called Legacy Precious Metals. Now, I know a lot of people are going through tough times right now, but if you are fortunate enough to where you have a few dollars left over every month to think about investing, then maybe investing in gold and silver through Legacy Precious Metals might be for you. Now, the stock market, if you follow that stuff, it's all over the place. In fact, it's plummeting right now. But precious metals, they've always held their value or even increased. So, of course, that's something that we're all interested in. Does it have to be a lot of money? It can just be a little bit, because it all adds up over time. Now, if you click the link, there is a guide there. It'll tell you all about investing in gold and silver, or you can give them a call and they will answer all of your questions at 866-933-0317. Going to do a quick question or two, and then you're going to get some rest and sleep and train and kick some ass. Perfect. If you've got a question, send it into bympod@gmail.com. Harrington, do your thing.
If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. It really helps out on those platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new episode drops. And if you want to catch over 400 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM30. Get a 30-day free trial. Check out over 20 great shows on the network.
All right. So our first question today is from Nick Brugman.
Hey, what's up, BYM? I'm Nick. I'm coming to you from Omaha, Nebraska.
Hell yeah.
Got 2 questions for you. First one, Anthony and Mike, if you could go back and watch any single one of your fights from the third person, which fight would it be and why? And then 2, is there any place that the UFC hasn't gone in the world that you would like to see them go for a pay-per-view or event or anything like that? Huge fan of the pod. Listen every week. Love what you guys are putting out. Shout out Brian and Harrington. You guys put on great production. Anthony, I met you a few years ago. You helped me out with a charity deal with the Omaha Children's Hospital. I want to say thank you again for that. And the offer still stands, man. If you ever want to drive the race car, let me know. Mikey B, if you ever get out to the good life here in Nebraska, you got to come out and we'll get you in a race car too, man. Thank you, guys. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. As it happens, we have about 20 trips planned.
Yeah.
To Nebraska.
Yeah.
So at one point, Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought he looked familiar. I was like, wow, I think I know that kid. Yeah, he's anyways, I did this charity thing for him and his race car.
So kind.
Yeah, well, no, I've never talked about it. He brought it up. I didn't bring it up. What was this question? If there was if there's any fight we would want to watch in the third person, I don't know. It feels kind of an uncomfortable, awkward, cocky question.
I was going to say we skipped that bit.
Yeah, and it's not because I don't respect the question. It's actually a really good question. It's just, I don't know. It feels very arrogant to answer that question. To be fair, I hate watching myself fight. So I always critique the fuck out of myself and feel like I look stupid anyways. If there's anywhere the UFC could go, I don't know, as long as it's got a direct flight, I'll go. But not that I won't go, but if I got to pick, it would be just a direct flight. I do want to see like Iceland would be cool. Iceland would be, it has nothing to do with the fights. It's a cool place I want to go. So it'd be a good reason to go if there was some fights there.
Yeah, my buddy Jacko went. I mean, I've seen tons of it online anyway, but yeah, he went there and like the ice hotels made out of ice and stuff, but you're not amazing. Cold. Yeah. Reykjavik, I want to go there. Rome. I've been to Rome. It's one of my favorite cities. It is unbelievable. And on that note,
made me think of something.
Dana's on about doing versus Musk at the Colosseum, and I'm just saying this: I'll pay to commentate the fight. You don't have to
if I don't work the desk for that one, I'll quit.
That's it. I'm going on the attack. I'm like, Wonderboy's right. Pay Wonderboy his money.
If we do a show in Rome, I better be fucking working it.
If I'm not on the show in Rome, I'm putting in a very serious letter.
Live BYM from the parking lot of the Coliseum.
The Coliseum's amazing, man.
Fuck, that'd be cool.
I've been there. It's just incredible. Rome. There it is. There it is. By the way, we're just going to do the one question because we've been going for a while, and I know you're tired. But please send them in Monday. We'll do.
If you want to do one more, we can do one more.
We'll do one more.
We can do one more.
Thing to say. Yeah. So my brother Adam is here right now. Adam and his whole family. They got in last night, and I got in late as well because I was doing the slap, and I got up, and I said, sorry, I've got to do the podcast. I said, I feel ignorant. He said, no. He said, I listen to it all the time. He said, I've got to say this, though. He said, the abuse towards Harrington has subsided a lot lately. He said, like, you guys are taking it easy. You're all kissing his ass. People aren't saying fuck Harrington anymore. And I'll be honest, that got a bit old. But Harrington, let me ask you, are you feeling the love?
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, I feel like having a kid is the best thing that ever happened to me. Not even from having the kid part. It's like, oh, you're a father now. We can't really say those things to you anymore.
I will say they have not stopped coming in. They're just not tagged on to the most quality questions.
Oh, good one, Brian. I will say they haven't stopped coming in. Oh, Brian with the one-liners.
Oh, that's good.
We didn't do a conspiracy corner, but Brian.
We'll do it on Monday.
Let's do it Monday.
Monday. Lock it in, brother. And we need a jingle. We
do.
Monday, we got a big conspiracy corner coming your way. Don't make it too complicated.
It's not. It's going to be about vaguely recent events.
Right, not too complicated. Otherwise, I know what I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This next one might get us in trouble, though.
Okay.
Well, don't do that.
I'm fine with that.
Question, please.
All right. So the next question is from James from Durham.
What do you guys think with Israel Adesanya struggling to find a matchup? What do you think of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson going up in weight and challenging him for the belt? Do you not think that would be a potentially possible fight? Do you not think it would be a real fan favorite? Let me know, guys. Cheers.
That's how you do a question.
Mm-hmm.
Straight into it.
I will say I had to edit a bunch of that off.
Oh.
Shit.
Well, Brian, that's how you deliver a question.
That's how you deliver a fucking question. Why don't you do that to them all?
Why didn't you play that last week when Israel didn't have an opponent?
That's true. Before he was fighting Sean Strickland.
He's fighting Sean Strickers.
Strickers.
Duplessis.
Sean Strickers Duplessis.
He's fighting Strickers. Did you see what is he called? Strickers. What did he call him?
Strickland?
Oh, no, Drickers. He called him something Dupussy.
Well, he called him the N-word once.
He did that. Yeah, no. Dickless Dupussy.
Dickless Dupussy, yeah. Anyways, I do think that the Stephen Wonderboy fight with Israel would be fun to watch just because of their styles. It'd be fun to.
I just want to point out that Drickers does in fact have a penis, and that was a joke from Israel Adesanya. Public service announcement there, and just because I laughed at it.
No pussy.
No, No, you can't have both genitalia.
You can't.
Regardless.
It's called a hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite, correct. They do exist.
Yes.
But you can't identify.
It's not Dricus Duplessis.
It's not Dricus Duplessis.
Well, I don't know, actually, to be fair.
You know where I'm going with that. Anyway, we'll leave that there. That's sensitive. I'm the biggest fan of Dricus Duplessis. Hopefully he's going to join us on the show. We were reaching out. He agreed to do it, and then I went off somewhere. But yeah, I think that's the show, guys.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. Shout out all you believers out there. Thank you. Subscribe, ring the bell. Take care. Enjoy your weekends. We'll be back Monday.